Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with Matt Maher.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
One of my funniest experiences of doing promoting Until You with my first record, because we're doing all the AAA stations. Mm-hmm. And, some of those things are, it feels like the Star Wars cantina when you walk in. You're like, what is happening? Where is, is there a station in here somewhere? It's at a college in a basement.
In a basement.
Anyway, so one of them, I got there and we were promoting Until You. And so I walk in and I have to kind of find somebody. I was supposed to be there for a radio thing at 10 a.m. and I was playing. It was actually in Indiana. But I go in and I have to find somebody first. So I'm like, I kind of walk in. I'm like, hey, and hey, what's up? I was like, hey, I'm Dave Barnes. They're like, okay. And I was like, I think I'm supposed to. And they're like, oh, cool. You need to talk to Frank or whatever. And so kind of find him in the recesses, and he's kind of, he hadn't seen light in a few years. And so he walks out and I'm like, hey, I'm here. And he's like, okay, great. And we walk into this room that has a circular table and there's a microphone in the middle of the table. And he's like, all right. And he's sitting at a computer and he just starts kind of talking. And I don't know if this is being recorded. And so the whole time he's like, that's cool. So, and it's so, his questions are so informal. Cool. What'd y'all play last night? And I'm like, I don't know if this interview, so I'm like in interview answer mode. So I'm like, oh, it was a great show. He's like, cool. Click, 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 kind of moving the mouse.
Moving around.
So y'all got more shows? Oh, man, the tour. We're so excited.
We're so excited about
And to this day, 15 years later, I don't know what of it was the interview
and what
of it wasn't. At some point, he said, you want to play a song? And I was like, okay, this is for sure. So then I kind of play the song, and then he's kind of like, cool, click, click, click.
I'm thinking halfway through the song, you see that the XLR cable's just laying on the ground.
Just laying on the ground.
That was
it's not even connected.
It was the funniest.
You're like, the computer's not even plugged in.
But to your point of sitting in here wondering, it was that feeling for 30 minutes of so is this all pre-roll or and even when I'm playing, I'm like, is this a mic check? Is this, are we keeping this? Yeah. And then it was done. Yeah. It was just, and I'm so glad I sort of was like, I need to sort of make this sound professional because I think this is the interview. And then it was like, I played and he's like, cool. He's like, and all of it was all the questions were just so perfectly, could go either way.
Yeah, vague.
Right.
Vague enough to be like, is
it small talk or is it an interview?
And then it was done, and I was like, "Oh, I guess that was the interview." It was so bizarre.
Yeah, because normally with those the radio world, they had their own separate tracking machines. With a more basic version of Pro Tools.
Yes,
where the waveforms the entire length of the monitor.
You're like, we're definitely recording. I can see it. Looks like a heart monitor.
I can actually see my heartbeat through my voice.
Yeah,
they're both in the same sound wave, and so normally you can tell because at least that. But it sounds like this guy's tweaking an oscilloscope.
Look, it takes us a minute to kind of get on board in Indiana.
Well, I didn't want to make this about Indiana, but I do want someone to be accountable. Is basically what I'm saying. But the funniest thing was how many, obviously you do. I don't know what the CCM version of that is, but I just know in the AAA version, there's so many of those that are in college basements where you're driving up and you're like
90% are in college campuses.
And so then it's just this wonderful kind of informal thing, which is kind of fun and sort of guerrilla radio vibes.
College radio.
Yeah, it's college radio. But it's oh man. Me talking about this, I'm feeling all those emotions of shame for some reason of walking in and nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Let me grab someone. Are you doing an interview? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys asked me to come, right?
They're like, oh, are you working?
You?
No, I have my guitar, man. I have a guitar. Dude, everybody has a guitar.
Yeah. The radio world. Most people would have no reason to know this, but what you're listening to in your car could be coming from, the 50th floor in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
Or some random
Chuck's
house.
mom's basement.
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's I think that's where the phrase "that guy's got a voice for radio" comes from.
He literally hasn't seen
Space for
sunlight.
radio.
So much of it is that it's the so much gets communicated in the voice. I think the first interview I ever did was at a college radio station, but this is I was in a band in high school, and we made our first album in a college radio station.
You made it in the station.
We made it in the station.
Oh gosh!
On the campus of the university where I grew up.
Where was that?
Memorial in Newfoundland. Okay. Memorial University of Newfoundland.
Yep.
It was CHMR college radio. We used to listen to it all the time, and we went in on a Friday night, in the dark of night, and and recorded the whole night. You know, and then it's you're seeing vapor trails at 7 in the morning. And
your contact high.
Yeah, I mean, literally. And it's just, that's just sleep deprivation.
If someone got that recording in that time, so that 2 months later.
Yes.
And they're like, dude, this sounds so much like, what was the thing you would have, if they would have said that, you'd have been high-fiving your friends?
I mean, I think we probably would have wanted it to sound like REM.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Husker Du.
Oh, wow.
Because
Respect.
we were. Yeah. But yeah, we probably just sounded like a bad wedding band.
Well, we all did.
Yeah.
I think I still maybe sound like a bad wedding.
Well, but it's even I was the keyboard player. I wasn't even really a singer at the time. And so all I wanted to do was play real piano and a B3.
Oh, yeah.
But
God, what a nightmare carrying that thing around.
Well, that's the thing. And so I ended up with this Roland MIDI workstation thing, which had so many bells and whistles and so many sound effects, and so and it's I remember going to the music store and looking at the Hammond. It was a digital Hammond. It was an XB3, and I was like, "What about?" And the guy's looking at my mom, and he's like, "No, check this thing out." You know what I mean? It's got a coffee maker, and it was so much stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I need this, but I got so overwhelmed by it, but I did it. But then when it's when I'm in the rock band at the college radio station, I'm thinking, gosh, what I would give for just a real piano right now, or a real instrument.
Gabe Dixon has the funniest stories about his dad schlepping his B3, because Gabe was kind of like a blues prodigy when he was in his young teens, and so all these legit blues bands in Nashville he played in as a kid, and so his dad would drive him to the shows, but they in the back of his van had a Hammond and a Leslie, and his dad and him would unpack it, and then his dad would sit at the shows and listen. And it's the sweetest thing. But it's that's the commitment you had to have, if pre-MIDI.
Oh,
or even during MIDI.
It's basically transporting a refrigerator and a dining room table
all the time.
All the time. And the dining room table has a bottom plate that's made of solid brass.
Yeah. It's
the plate itself weighs 500 pounds.
It's unbelievable. Okay, so now it's time to intro you. Now that everybody hear you, Matt.
Okay.
Just listen. This is where you have to listen to me read this.
Okay.
Today on Dadville, we've got Matt Maher with us. Matt is a singer-songwriter and worship leader whose songs have quietly become some of the most sung songs in churches over the last 15 years. You've probably heard and likely sung. Thank you. Songs like Lord, I Need You, Your Grace is Enough, and Because He Lives. Amen. Which have been translated and sung in churches all over the world. Originally from Canada, which we just heard a little bit, Newfoundland, which is not Newfoundland.
It's Newfoundland.
Dadgummit! Originally from Canada, now based in Nashville, Matt has released multiple albums, been nominated for several Grammys on the Grammy board, won a handful of Dove Awards, and spent years writing songs that sit right at the intersection of theology, liturgy, and everyday faith. He's also a husband and dad of 3, which means in addition to writing songs the Global Church sings every Sunday, he's also doing things like packing lunches, negotiating bedtimes, and stepping on Legos in the dark, which qualifies him as a full citizen of Dadville.
Yes.
Matt Maher, welcome to the show. This is something that we haven't been able to talk about a lot on here, which I'm really excited to hear you speak wisdom on. What is that like? What is the worship? When I think of worship, I have so much respect for that space, because I think what people probably underestimate is that it really does take a skill set. It takes a passion. It takes know-how. Because I think what a lot of people can get wrong, I have so much respect for that stuff, because people will come to me and be like, "Oh, have you ever thought about doing that?" Or could you come lead? And I have turned down. I'm sure, John, you've done the same. A lot of like, hey, just come and lead, and then you can do your show. And I'm like, I need to make this as clear as you can understand. I don't do that.
Yeah.
And they're always
I never turn it down. I see it as service.
Let me speak for myself. I'm so sorry. I forget that's where our road divides.
Goats and shit.
That's where goats and shit. But like, I have so much respect for it because I think it does take such a gift. And that sounds cheesy, but I mean that. And I've always wanted to ask people that do that, like you do, what is that like? Like when you have so many songs that are, and they're not all like that. But like, what is it like navigating that world where you are writing songs where people are going and singing these corporately, and a lot of people are singing them?
Yeah. Well, I think, okay, so to separate it into two answers, because there's the first thing on like the sort of the kind of term leading.
Yeah.
And then there's like the writing aspect.
Yeah.
And I came to it kind of in an unconventional way. I didn't come to it sort of through a deeply spiritual way.
Yeah.
I think I came through it because of my worldview.
The money.
Exactly. I was...
and then God strikes our studio with lightning.
Exactly.
But only you die.
Yes. I was born and raised in Newfoundland, and so I grew up in sort of a traditional Irish Catholic family. So a lot of guilt. Don't talk about your emotions.
Yeah.
Repress everything. And
but by the way, and you don't have to speak. But what is the nucleus of that? Why is that? What is that about? Is that a cultural thing?
Oh gosh, I don't
know. The Catholic guilt.
Yeah, but also mixed with the Irish piece, because that's which obviously that Ireland and Catholicism is a whole other conversation. But just like, why is that? Like, what is that culturally?
I mean, gosh, this is like,
I know that's a huge
like a whole
question.
other. Like I would just be like, it's.
Just speak for the entire Catholic faith. Right now.
Speak for the Irish, even though you're not Irish. I mean, first of all, Ireland is a people and a place that was colonized by the British.
Yeah.
Literally their next door neighbors.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't allow them to practice their culture, their language, their music, what they believed in. They were taught that it was all subhuman. And then those people came to North America and brought that with them.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I think they brought the experience that life is hard. And there's just some junk that you never really quit navigating.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's sort of like you joke, it's sort of the Irish sensibility of like it's very emotional, but also tough, because it's like there's just some stuff in life where you're just going to have to like grit and bear through it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the question of like, well, how does that continue to look as like we as society continues to change and hopefully grow? And even like a podcast like Dadville, the idea of like talking about being a dad versus just like my dad was like, well, I didn't talk to my dad about being a dad.
Yeah.
And some of that, like I'm saying, is because their lived experience it's just hard.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But that's there's your dirt.
Yeah.
There's your ground.
So there's some of it's just some of that. But like my mom's American, so like I grew up in kind of like more of like a liberal thinking household where we talked about everything.
Wow.
There was nothing nothing off the table.
Wow.
And my parents had people of very, very diverse views coming over at the house. So I just sort of learned that people are people. They hold different opinions. Sometimes they're vastly different than yours, but they're still a person.
Yeah.
Did you have any sense that was like a unique household to grow up in?
No.
No, it's Canada.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's some. I think I was fortunate that I had a lot of friends who were the similar things. I knew it was unique in the sense because like my dad was also he owned a restaurant for a while.
Oh,
and
wow.
He was involved in politics. So he started like the publishing company that edited the minutes of like basically the state legislature, the provincial legislature. And my uncle was the leader of the opposition party for the provincial government in Newfoundland and Labrador for 20 plus years.
Jeez.
So it was a very
so that's in the that's
all
in
in the ether. So in the worldview was like the notion that part of being a contributing member of society is you have to serve people.
Wow.
And
that's
amazing. And if you're going to have the audacity to include God in the conversation, then the onus is on you even more.
Jeez.
To find a way
well said.
To be a servant. So that's kind of when I thought of faith, that's what I always thought of.
Wow.
And then musically, I wanted to make music for movies. I was obsessed with the idea of film scoring.
Like sound. Oh, scoring. So not soundtrack, scoring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Foley work. I wanted to be the guy banging coconuts.
Crunch, 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 crunch. How are we making a lightsaber sound again? How do we do that?
Exactly. No, I really wanted to. I loved John Williams. I loved Howard Shore. I loved like all these different composer names, and I would go to movies and just like listen to the score. And
that's so interesting.
Well,
even as a kid,
it is because it's music that it serves a moment.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Look what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
It underscores a moment, and so when I was studying music in college, and I
didn't know you did that.
Yeah, I did. I was a professional college student. I did like 7 years of undergraduate study.
Holy cow!
So I did 3 years in Canada, and then I moved to the States and started going back to church and finished my college degree in music. But I basically had to start over. Because the school in Newfoundland, the music school, was more of like a conservatory model, so there weren't a ton of general electives.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Arizona, and they were like, "Can you do math?" And I was like, "It's been a minute."
You're like, "So 1 is the tonic, 2 is your minor."
So they were like, "You need to do general studies," and so then
where in Arizona?
Arizona State.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, which is a monstrous college.
50,000.
So you probably went from a very small conservatory school, I would imagine,
to 50,000 college.
Biggest school ever.
Also, just the weather swing.
Oh, the whole thing. It's like proof that God has a sense of humor. It was insane. Like I moved there in July, so I was just like,
for what reason? What took you there?
Well, my parents got divorced.
Oh wow!
And my mom was moving back to the States to be. Her parents were getting older. And
geographically, Newfoundland,
most eastern part of North America.
That's what I was going to say. You are way.
So literally on the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah,
not much tree cover or stuff. Like the wind is just.
You just have like the ocean trying to kill you every winter,
all the time.
Yeah.
What is? Sorry, nerd question. What's the what's the warmest y'all get?
I mean, no, like high. I mean, probably low 90s. Like high 80s.
You're getting summer
for about a week and a half.
Yeah, you'll get a heat wave.
Yeah.
Summers there are gorgeous.
And humidity?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty humid because you're like literally where the Gulf Stream and the Arctic Stream hit. So
that's what I was going to ask. A lot of rain. The Gulf Stream, the Arctic Stream.
Yeah, a lot of rain. That's a lot of fog because it's basically cold air and hot air colliding.
There it is. Okay.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah. Your karate's really showing, John.
I know it. Those
really
online courses.
It's amazing. You know those moments right before you start something new, John? Just like your karate adventure.
Yep.
That voice in your head saying, is this really the right move?
Mm-hmm.
What if I fail?
Mm-hmm.
What if no one cares?
I mean, those doubts can be pretty heavy, you know? When I started out my online karate classes, I wasn't even sure what I was doing. But looking back, choosing to take that leap was one of the best decisions I ever made. And guess look at me now.
Yeah. Well, wow. It's so fast. You should stand up and do it. It really helps having Shopify by my side, John. Their platform eases a lot of those worries with smart tools, expert advice, and an easy-to-use setup that makes launching your business way less stressful.
Yeah, Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses worldwide, from big names to entrepreneurs just getting started.
You get hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-use templates to build a store that truly matches your brand style.
Plus, Shopify has AI-powered tools that help you write product descriptions, create page headlines, and even boost your product photos, making it faster and easier to manage your store.
And when it's time to grow your audience, Shopify makes marketing simple with email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they are.
Shopify's got your back with expert support too, from inventory to shipping to returns. They're there whenever you need help.
It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today.
Sign up for your $1 per month. That's right. You heard me right. $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Dadville.
That's shopify.com/Dadville.
I moved growing up in a very unique environment, and I moved wanting to make music for movies.
Hey everybody, it's John here. It's just going to be me on this one because I'm that passionate about it. Now listen, I want to tell you about time for learning.
Time for Learning believes in harnessing the flexibility of homeschool to help families explore passions, travel, and hobbies without the constraints of traditional school hours. So you could have school like on top of a mountain, right? Or in the middle of the ocean, whatever. You can schedule a mix of subjects each day or focus on specific ones by the day. Time for Learning is incredible in the way that it has everything you need to teach pre-K through 12th grade at home with all the core and elective classes offered in a traditional brick and mortar school. Now, the Cinema series, it might be my favorite. It's rich, story-driven courses for grades 6 through 12 that bring learning to life. Get started with a monthly plan to see if Time for Learning is right for you and your family. You got multiple students? You can save up to 30% by opting for an annual plan. Time for Learning's templates for transcripts, grades, and diplomas make it easy to match homeschool requirements in all 50 states. And the templates can be used as a main curriculum, supplement, or even after school or summer learning series. Now, for me personally, I'm just thinking how Time for Learning could help us musicians while we're on tour. I mean, we could educate our little ones every day in any city right before sound check. I mean, that would be living the dream. And after 20 years of over 1 million students served, Time for Learning is the best way to nurture confident, future-forward kids and get them ready to thrive in college and career. If you're curious if Time for Learning is right for your family, visit timeforlearning.com. That's TIME, the number 4, and learning.com to explore the curriculum and find the perfect plan for your student. You can even get started with just a monthly subscription to see how much your kids enjoy learning on their own terms. Timeforlearning.com.
But then I encountered God, and I had to contend with that. And then I got offered a scholarship in the jazz department at ASU.
No way.
Yeah, so
That's
I did
on piano.
On piano.
Jeez,
So
look at you.
I was like, okay, I wanted to drop out, and a friend of mine said, "Don't you dare." Because
You wanted to drop out of ASU?
yeah, I want to drop out of college.
Okay.
Because by that point I was going to church, and I was like, I love doing this. Like, I don't need to get a degree. I can just keep practicing on my
Plus,
own.
you've had 3 years of schooling,
I already had 3 years, and it was just it was like a year and a half in, and
and your Mixolydian chops are just through the roof.
Mixolydian for days.
You
Can I ask you real quick, kind of a nerdy in the weeds question?
Yeah.
Musically, when you get to ASU, after being 3 years at a conservatory, are they constantly being like, all right, we're going to do this, and you're like, yeah, I've done that, and they're like, all right, we'll move on to this, and or is there new stuff that you're like, oh, I've never delved into this world?
I mean, I think when you're a player, you're either a sicko, and this is anything in life, right? Like, you either are a lunatic about what you do. So
That's
whether
so
it's
good.
singing or
That's
playing,
so good.
I mean, JJ Redick, who's the coach for the Lakers, he calls players like sickos all the time, and I've learned, that's a compliment.
Yeah,
because what he's saying is they have an obsessive
That's
quality.
So well said. That's really well said.
About perfecting what it is that they're doing. And so I would say I went from a school of like smaller amount of students to this massive school, and so I'm just so wide-eyed about the whole thing. And I was taking piano lessons. I had to spend the first year getting residency in the state. Otherwise, it was like $35,000 for one semester.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I spent a year. I practiced every day. The director of the jazz department was a piano player. He saw how hard I was working, and he goes, "Hey, if you can get through another spring, next fall, I'll give you a tuition scholarship."
Oh, that's great.
And
that's so cool.
It's just, I just looked at it and was like, I get this. This feels like provision in a unique way.
Yeah.
And I get literally my schooling's taken care of, and I can drive here every day, and I can practice, and I can keep learning. And
can I ask you one more nerdy question?
Yeah.
The conservatory, did it have a lean? Did it have like, we're big on jazz or we're big on composition?
No, and it was called Memorial University School of Music, and at the time it felt like, looking at it objectively now because of what they did with the general studies electives, or the lack of, like, you still had to do humanities and you had to do a language, but it just wasn't as intensive as like most larger schools.
But like, did you get any specific chops
like
from
there? There were vast majority are music education majors, some performance, some theory and composition. At the time, those were kind of the three main outlets. It's like, you're either going to become a teacher, you're going to become a classically trained artist.
Okay. Cool.
Or you're going to do theory and composition. Okay. And that was sort of like brand new, even at the time.
And then as ASU, does it lean a certain way once you're in the piano? Are they more jazz? Are they more classical? Are they more...
No. So as a jazz student, I had to take both. So I took jazz piano studio, which was my teacher at the time was a guy named Chuck Moronic, and he trained basically with the same teacher as Bruce Hornsby.
Holy cow!
A guy named Vince Maggio.
Wow!
And so Chuck could play like any jazz musician, any jazz piano player throughout history. He was just his level of competency was like it's like master level. And so that I would just mostly sit there and listen to him play and go, I suck.
Yeah.
And then classically, I got hooked up with a classical teacher, and I would also leave my lessons usually going, I suck.
Yeah.
But it was more about technique and like learning to not let your hand get in the way of what your head and your heart are trying to do. And so there's just a mechanical aspect to playing, and the purpose of practicing is to try to get it to the point where this isn't affecting the interior decisions that you're making in the moment creatively. So I'm doing all this, and then I'm going to church, and I'm just falling in love with I was already learning how to play guitar from like the Rock Band days, and so then it was like as I dove further into my faith, the more I loved making music in that context, and it very much translated to film scoring because I just realized, and especially because the fact of like a service in a Catholic context is way more. There's a liturgy to it.
Yeah.
So you can look at liturgy as almost like plot points of a film. Like there's this arc happening every week.
Yes,
and I'm inserting music into it. Music isn't the script.
Yeah.
Music isn't sometimes it's the environment, sometimes it's like lighting, but it's not the primary driver. And so I love the fact that it took more of an accompanying role. And I'd paid my way partially through the first 3 years of college by accompanying musical theater students. And so learning all these like Broadway musicals.
What a tutorial.
It is. Yeah. It's
man.
Like it's masterful. And
well, to me, I've only dipped my toe in that world, but what I always feel at the age I am now with what I know about music, it is such a Broadway to me. 3, 2. I had a lot of coffee this morning, though, so already my squirrel brain is like turbocharged squirrel brain. But like it is such a you can do it.
It's okay. It's okay.
It feels like
we do have a hard out at noon, but take your time. We got some time.
It feels like the convergence of so many things, classical, jazz, but woven into here's how the masses can metabolize it in a song.
Yeah.
So it's like amazing key changes,
right?
Phenomenal musicality, theory on display, but with a melody and a through line that just feels so digestible to the everyman.
And that's the part about songwriting in specific that I started to fall in love with.
Wow, that's cool.
Was I can take harmony and melody and personal experience and lived experience and even theology and history, and it's like as I get inspired by all these different things, I can find a way to put it together in a way that's relatable to someone else. And in particular, because of growing up at the moment of history in which I did, I loved the challenge of the parameters of like, can you do this in 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes?
Which is so much like scoring.
Can you put a hook to it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it was where I found myself flourishing as a person. And so
was it one of those things that when you started doing it, the effects of it were like profound, not in a way that's like all of a sudden people were like, you should fill stadiums, but in that season, as you do it, people were like really responding in ways you're like, whoa, this is really connecting.
Yeah. And at first it was literally just people coming up at the end of church.
Yeah.
Going, I don't know what you guys did today, but the music was really, really inspiring.
Wow.
And at
so
this
great.
time, are you writing? Like, would you have been doing some of your original stuff at this point?
Yeah, well, yes, some, but like I was writing music songs and playing them at coffee houses, and someone once told me the first rule of songwriting is you write what you know.
Yeah.
And so all my first songs were bad songs about relationships.
Oh, relationships, right?
Because I knew nothing about.
I thought we were going to go with like nautical.
Yeah.
Oh, the wind blows, and it's still blowing.
No, I will say this: there are some Newfoundland folk writers that are bonkers ridiculous. There's a guy named Ron Hines who is an incredible songwriter, and like he wrote a song that literally went around the world called "Sonny's Dream." I guarantee you, if like you like both of you go listen to this song, you will go. First thing you'll go is, How come I haven't heard this song before?
Wow.
And I think I want to cover this song.
Wow.
What is it called again?
Sonny's Dream.
Sonny's Dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like the chorus is like, Sonny, don't go away. I'm here all alone. And your daddy's a sailor who never comes home.
Oh, man.
And the nights are so long. And I'm not all that... I'm not all that strong. It's a beautiful melody.
Wow.
Sonny, don't go away. I am here all alone, and your daddy's a sailor who never comes home.
Yeah,
and the night it is hauntingly good.
Melody,
It's one of those things where like you grow up hearing a song like that, and you think it's possible to write one because the guy in your hometown wrote it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So I think for me, I've always, especially still, like if I go home, like I love, like there's so many incredible artists that have come out of Newfoundland or still live there who have had global impact but stayed there. And I love the fact that I came from a culture that sort of wants to make much of the local artists.
Well, I mean, not to be this guy, but I think that's such a Canadian thing from what I understand. Like celebrating music, underwriting it governmentally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that kind of patronage, you know?
Yeah, it makes a pretty massive difference. I mean, because that's where, when you talk about culture, it's, it becomes an etheric word. It's like if you hear the songs, like there was a Scottish revivalist who said, show me the songs of a nation. I care not who writes its laws.
Wow. Jeez.
And so to me, I think like food, food, music, art.
Yeah.
What other stuff are you doing? It's like that's the stuff that, and even I've lived in the States now for 30 years, and you travel around and you go to places where those things are high value and high emphasis. And they're the places that people want to revisit.
Yeah.
What a cool thought.
You know what I mean? Like New Orleans, people aren't going for the humidity. But it's like no one's like...
What a great thought.
No one's like...
the pores. It opens my pores. My
just
face
really,
just looks...
Yeah. I want to go to a place where the air itself is sweating.
Right.
It's like, no, but the culture is literally like off the charts. And it's... And it's something that you want to sort of embrace in a visceral sense. Like you want to.
It has to be experienced.
You have to immerse yourself in it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I think for me, when it came to writing songs, it came from a place of being immersed in a community that was like, hey, our faith's a big deal. But it defines a lot of the choices that we're trying to make and a lot of the ways in which we're relating to people around us and loving one another. And not everybody, it's just a church. Like not everyone who goes to church has that. That's just sort of, that's my way of approaching. And so then I'm looking at it as like, oh, this music can serve. It serves people. And you get that too. It's just like people start messaging you, especially now, like as a songwriter, and you're like, I listen to your songs when I'm out for a walk or when I'm going to the gym or this song really helped me through this season. And it's just like, it just reminds you of there's this intrinsic nature of something that you wrote from a completely different point of life that is now helping another person.
There's nothing. I never feel more clarity than when someone says that about a song.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if people like it or they like the record, they like the show. That's great. But when somebody stops me to go, hey, that song like got me through something, or, you know, it's the song we fell in love to, but serves, it is like those little moments, and it doesn't last for long, but like those couple of minutes, I'm like, oh, that's right. That's what I'm doing.
It's interesting because it's kind of the same effect of what you've been describing a lot. It's like, I think maybe the reason why we like it so much is that it's in service to something else. Like the bigger thing was our relationship, and that was our song, and we've been married for, 75 years now.
Yeah.
So it's like it's secondary to something else, which feels something feels right about that.
Well, it takes the weight off of it in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because to your point, it's one of the things you already said. It's part of a liturgy, and it's in that way. It's like a stop on the road. It's not the road.
Yeah, and I think even for an artist, like most artists get to a point where they're like, okay, music's important, but like there's just a lot more to living. And I'm not. I mean, a lot of artists go through the thing of realizing, like, they're like, I'm not a 3-minute song. I wish I was as clear as a 3-minute song.
Yeah.
But I'm not always that concise. I'm not always that clear. I'm not always that decisive. A great song is lightning in a bottle, but no one's living a life like a lightning bolt. It's just there's something about the finite nature of that. Like, I mean, I just saw a clip, the story, the new Mumford song Here. That's on the new Mumford & Sons record. It's a really great song. It's just really great songwriting. And, but the story of it was his son was asking about heaven, and normally,
I saw that clip.
And normally he would direct him to his parents, and he just put his hand on his kid's chest, and he said, heaven starts right here. And it was just like, good Lord, that's so great. And it's like, and the thing is, I didn't need to know that story to know that it's a great song, but I already loved the song, and it's like, now I even love the song even more.
Yeah.
Because it's like you took a real human moment, and you encapsulated it in a way that people can enter into it with their own life and their own story. And so the best songs that I feel like I've written are the songs that have helped people do that.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, it's like I'm writing songs about to and for God when it's a congregational song. And but it's funny because I'm not sitting around going like, it's every song gives voice.
Yeah.
Gives people a voice. So,
one of the things, I'm going to soapbox for half a second. It'll be about 20 minutes, so buckle up. I think one of the things that I really lament, and I choose that word very specifically for this context, is that because music is such a young man's game, you get so much representation musically around certain moments that are specific to that age. Like so many great songs are written about those things. And I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and he actually brought this up. He was like, it makes me sad because that Mumford is such a great example of, you can only write that song as a dad. You can only write from that perspective of having your son say that and experience. And I think it just bums me out because I'm like, I love when we have sort of people that are older writing songs about things that only older people can write about. And so I kind of lament that it's either by that time they're not doing music anymore, or nobody's listening as much, or they're not, because it's just the industry has squeezed them out, and it's kind of like, no, we really, and I'm like, man, to have, like some of these later Paul Simon records have just had some of the most beautiful songs about being older. And it just grieves me that like, we can't sit with those as well, because you're just like, I'm not listening to him as much anymore. But you're like, gosh, some of the stuff he's saying is really important to listen to, or even Tom Waits or whatever, these artists that live into their and they're still making music. It's really important music to have. It's just not as sexy. It's a little more contemplative, and it's a little more like you have to sit and really engage it in ways that you can't just listen at the pool. You got to sort of be like, okay, I need to like sit and be quiet and listen to this. It's really important things, but it's just we don't really have a place for that as much in our culture for sort of going like, what is James Taylor singing about now? Or what is, Stevie Wonder, whatever that artist that's a little into their older life, if they're even making records anymore, because I'm not even sure they feel like it's important anymore. Because,
and and I would say if one of them is listening, it's so important.
They all are.
Frank Lloyd Wright is obviously one of the most celebrated architects in modern history. A lot of people don't realize that most of the significant work that he is still celebrated and known for, he made in the back half of his life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you watch the Ken Burns documentary on Frank Lloyd Wright, I saw it on a flight. I was on a flight from Calgary to Vancouver, and I was with another artist who was older and was kind of questioning. Like, we'd have a couple of side conversations, and you could tell like they were trying to figure out like, what am I doing? I'm starting to feel too old for this. I'm starting to feel like, I don't know, like I don't know my place. And so I'm watching this Ken Burns documentary, and Frank Lloyd Wright's a very like weird guy. This is not a bastion of humanity to hold up as a person, but the point was, Falling Water, which is the building outside of Pittsburgh that's like this house that's like ridiculous, right? So the story of that one, some guy who owns an auto dealership, I think, or a series of auto dealerships, commissions them. Frank Lloyd Wright takes a bunch of interns, goes to the place where the house is going to be in the waterfall, and students are like taking a bunch of notes or whatever, and then he leaves and goes back to Wisconsin, I think is where Taliesin was. Doesn't put pen to paper for months on end. And the students are like, what the heck is he doing? And he's like in his 70s, I think, at this point. And he's just sitting there. He's just kind of living life or whatever. And all of a sudden they get a telegram one day that like says the guy's like, he's like driving up from Chicago and he'll be here in 2 hours. He's like, he reads it. He's like, okay. Walks over, picks up the pencil, starts drawing. Straight for 2 hours. Finishes the last shrub on the drawing as the car's pulling up the driveway. Drew the whole plan from start to finish with his hand. Mm-hmm. He had been drawing it in his brain for 2 years. Had his interns map the entire topography of the land. He knew where every rock, every tree, every shrub was. And the thing that he basically was internally processing was, how do I make a house built on a cantilever, which is the most ingenious thing about that house, is it's built on this giant structure. So one side of the weight bears the other side so it won't fall over, but it hangs over the waterfall. And the point is, to your point, is that I don't think a young man could do that.
Yeah.
Because that's just, it takes a lot of trial and error and earned wisdom and experience. And it's like, and then he made the Guggenheim when he was 91 years old. And it's not, I was thinking, some of it's music, but some of it is just culture in general. Like, all stuff just keeps trending towards young people. And I do think that like we need to find ways, particularly in the arts and in things that make culture.
Yeah.
Culture's best, I think, when it's multi-generational.
That's a great. I love that.
When we kind of we celebrate the wisdom and the perspective of the person who's been around a while, and man or woman who's lived through a lot of experiences, and the sort of the young, fresh energy. To even make a nerdier spiritual comparison, a lot of people don't know this. St. Peter's Cathedral has 2 arms. If you look at an overhead of the Cathedral of St. Peter in Rome, there's these 2 arms that sort of jut out. And the idea of that is that they were supposed to represent the arms of Mother Church.
Wow.
And one side is what they would call the charismatic side, and the other side was the institutional side. So the institutional side is like, what are the things that we've always kind of held on to and believed, and how do we continue to consider those things. And then the charismatic side was like, here's where all the new, fresh ideas come from, and all the energy and all the vibrancy of youth. And it's like, you need both.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
You need both.
So what should I do here? Speaking of vibrancy of youth,
There we go.
how has with what you've been doing, vocationally, what does family look like with that? Like, how have you navigated having
And real
kids?
quick, what are the ages of your kids? You have 3 kids?
3 kids, 14, 12, and 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right around ours.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? How have you navigated that? Like, how have y'all both navigated
I mean, so I would say in my mind, there's pre and post COVID, because COVID was a real defining moment, just in the sense that like you couldn't tour. And so at the end of 2020, I realized I'd spend more time in a row consecutively, more days with my family that year than in the previous 10. Like, I look back on my calendar and I was like, there was no moment in the previous 10 years when I was around my family this much.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is insane.
And what was the year like for you?
It was hard. It was really, really hard. Some of it was incredibly beautiful, incredibly life-changing, sweet, had some, just some really, really special moments. I mean, it was funny. Like, my wife turned 40, and we couldn't have her 40th birthday because it was like, it was May.
Yeah.
So I organized a drive-through birthday party, and my wife loves a good margarita. So we literally had like a garbage bin full of ice and like drive-through margaritas. So people would come by holding a sign.
That's so great.
So we organized like this whole caravan. Yeah, and that's the last good birthday idea I've had since
but
I
boy, was
haven't
it
had a
great.
good one in 5 years.
One a decade. I think.
Yeah, one a
It's fine.
decade's kind of what I seem to be tracking at. I mean, I think it's a lot of the similar things when you're married to someone who's in a vocational work. It could be music, could be something else. It inevitably you turn into a one-parent family for a certain period amount of time.
Yeah.
It's just because of age and proximity. So kids that young, I just don't think they can really process the other parent who's on FaceTime or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like you don't really like you're still alive, but you're in another dimension. It's just like dad's over he's in the upside down again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And so I think for 10 years it's really that. It's like being married to someone who's willing to hold down the fort and keep the wheels moving, and then you're kind of trying to catch up as you go.
Anyway, that was the last time that I ever drove backwards. But look, I'll admit, I didn't really think much about home security until we had kids. And then suddenly, like, bam, every little noise at night, I felt that's significant.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of raccoons
There are
around our area.
tons of raccoons. And if it's not a
Trash
raccoon,
pandas.
did we lock everything?
Oh,
like,
no.
is the package still sitting on the porch?
What about the bunnies,
What about
John?
the bunnies? Are the bunnies getting loose? And that's why, Dave,
What?
we got Cove. And Cove has been a huge peace of mind shift for our family, especially the bunnies.
Same here, John. Without the bunnies,
They sleep
What I
like
love
bunnies.
most is just being able to check in any time.
Yeah.
If I'm out, a package gets delivered, I get an alert. If there's motion at the door, I can pull up the live video right on my phone.
1,000%. We were out to dinner and we got a motion alert from the front door.
Oh,
Old
gosh.
me would have spiraled.
No.
Right?
Not new John.
Instead, boom, I just opened the app. I saw it was a neighbor dropping something off.
Okay.
That
was me, but-
It was you. Saw you were shirtless. I wish you
That's how you knew
had
it
at
was
least
me,
had pants
John.
on. Stress was over in 5 seconds.
I know.
Thanks
But
to
stress,
Cove.
Did you stress in a new way, though?
In a new way.
You
yeah.
did. I've got to say, setup shockingly easy, John. I couldn't believe it. I thought I did it wrong. About 30 minutes to install, and I'm not exactly a renowned electrician. Not yet.
Not yet.
Moving
but
my way
you
up.
feel like you are with Cove.
I am.
Okay? And Cove is less than $1 a day.
How are they?
For something that helps you sleep better at night? Come
It's
on, that's worth it.
Make protecting your home a top priority. Check out Cove at covesmart.com/dad or use code DAD at checkout for up to 60. I almost said it wrong because I'm so surprised. It shocked to me. Surely it's not 60% off. Is this a for-profit?
Exactly.
60% off your first order, John.
And look, if you get a survey, please let them know you heard about Cove from Dadville Podcast.
John.
Dave.
Can I pick a subject that we talk about right now?
Please.
Bed sheets. Go. Just
Okay,
say whatever
here's
you're
the
thinking.
thing.
Say whatever you're thinking.
Because I feel so passionately about this.
Okay.
You know what I don't like?
What? Tell me.
Bad bed sheets.
Oh, hashtag.
Okay? When the corners won't stay put, the fabric's super thin, you can practically see through it. When they're scratchy.
Yes.
Oh, you wake up like in all hours of the night, you're too hot, you're uncomfortable. It's miserable.
It is. John, if your sheets are thinning, slipping, or overheating, that's your sign it's time to upgrade to Boll & Branch.
I knew
Boll
that's where
& Branch's signature sheets are made from 100% organic cotton.
Yes.
And are designed to hold their shape, unlike me in college, stay breathable, and feel luxuriously soft every night.
Dave, I'm not switching to Boll & Branch unless you tell me that I'll fall asleep faster, stay comfortable all night, not just some of the night, and actually notice the difference the very moment I get into bed, and that they won't wear out.
Oh, John, I've got some good news for you because all of the above is happening. They get softer with every watch.
Yes.
Yeah, and wash, John. You can sit there.
Just
They're
watch
so
them.
comfortable. You just fall asleep looking at them. Sleep sound with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/Dadville.
That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/Dadville to save 15% and unlock free shipping. Exclusions apply. Did you have any sense of like relief? Like for me, when the world shut down, I felt like for the first time, maybe the first time in my adult life, I was like, I'm allowed to just chill.
Yeah, it was the first time that I didn't feel that whatever that pull is. Mm-hmm. I've sort of kind of discerned and been like, okay, where is this? What is this? Is this my ego? This sort of thing that needs me to like venture out and keep going, you know? And it's like, where's what's motivating me here? You know what I mean? Like what number on the Enneagram is this? And so it was just sort of like, what is it? And so for the first time, it felt like there was more of a dialogue where all of a sudden, oh, there's another voice in the room. And they're like, actually, I like being around. Mm-hmm. I like being weekends. I like weekends. Mm. I like making pancakes on Saturdays. I'd like to be considered more in the conversation. And so a lot of it's like giving yourself permission.
Yes. Yeah.
To welcome that voice into the room.
Yeah.
And actually weigh it and not squash it down for usually real, but usually very material concerns because it just usually ends up revolving around money,
right? For
an artist,
yeah.
Because you're like, I've got to go make money. It's like, okay, you do, but they're like some of this is also this, interesting thing is like you make money and then you spend money, and so it's like you could also look at how you spend money while you're looking at how you make money,
right?
Because you could change how you spend money too. And that could also change how you make money. Mm-hmm. So I think it's more. Some of it's like going like, oh, I'm an adult. I can have adult conversations like with myself, with my spouse. Like we can work on this together. And so it's been a gradual process. And so like I would say 2020 to like 2023, touring was like almost non-existent. The only thing I think in 22, the only thing I did was I went to Europe for 2 weeks with Rent Collective.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I bet that was cool.
It was a real blast, and it was also very weird. Like after being home for all of 2020 and 2021, it was I did like I don't know, like 15 shows or events or something, and then all of a sudden 2022, it was like. Some of us, I had new music coming out, and so we were like, okay, well, it's so hard. I think some of it, too, is like when you're an artist who's touring a lot, you usually have an infrastructure team, a support team around you of like management and a tour manager or band members that normally play with you. And so then when you don't do anything for a year, and then like you're trying to fire that back up and just like black smoke coming out the rear. Right. Literally.
It won't turn. Give me a second. Go.
It's just literally that's what it felt like. It felt like that for a couple of years of just going and then saying, okay, am I even supposed to still be doing this? So then I went through a whole period of going like, should I quit? Should I just quit touring? And just, I don't know, figure something else out. And, I think my wife, to her credit, was a huge encouragement and supported me either way. But I think she and my kids, as they've gotten older, like it's less of an individual conversation now. It's more of a group conversation.
Yeah.
So it's more like, hey, Dad has the opportunity to do this. Do we want to do this? And sometimes they're like, yes. And other times they're like, have fun.
Right.
Or other times they're like, don't go. And, and we have to talk through it. And you have to I will say it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. It's
just a lot of trial and error. And the one thing for me that I was able to weather early on, even in COVID, was because I had been very fortunate to sort of have a career as a songwriter. It gave me enough margin.
Yeah.
To say, okay, well, if I don't have to play a ton of shows right now because my band's all gone on and taken other gigs with other people. My tour manager, she got off the road altogether and took a job working for a promoter. So it was I had a bit of margin.
Yeah.
I've had the same manager for 20 years, and she's very supportive and has been kind of zero pressure. No one's. So it just feels like at a point now where it feels, I would say it was a really tough 10 years of constantly feeling like you have to do the next thing because the next thing is somehow going to lead to the next thing that's going to change everything. And I don't know if I buy any of that anymore.
I don't know if there's a more articulate way to say what you just said.
Yeah.
That's so built into every artist's experience. I really think you just nailed that.
It is because it's a carrot. It's a golden carrot.
Listen, that 7:30 a.m. In Columbus, local
Columbus
TV
morning
thing.
TV.
If we can get the video from that, we can use it for the pitch reel for Good Morning America. And if we can get you on Good Morning America, that's a Today Show.
That's
almost
Today Show.
guaranteed.
And then that
Today Show will get you to the Tonight Show.
Show.
And now we're at a different time of the day, and that's a whole other kind of programming. It's just what a unbelievably baked into our experience for a job.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's not related to the thing itself.
Yeah,
the thing's a mechanism for some. It's just it's an avatar. It's a cantilever. It's a giant. It's a Frank Lloyd Wright cantilever. It's going to propel you into success.
Into some other thing.
So I have to ask, because you have a 14-year-old. Do you have boy, girl, boy?
Boy, girl, boy.
So you got a 12-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. Because Dave and I both, I have two daughters. Dave, same as you, boy, girl, boy. And we're in the throes of teenagehood.
Wasteland.
Yeah. Wasteland, yeah. Which I was just telling Dave this morning before you got here. We were doing our prayer time. It is the lows are insane. And then the highs are insane. My wife and I were just looking at each other at dinner last night as we're having this great dinner with our girls after kind of a rough low time. And we're just I don't understand why it's so great right now, but let's just enjoy it right now, So what has it been like for you guys?
Well, and I would say it relates to your previous question, because it's one of the things I've learned in my marriage is my wife will ask me something and I won't intentionally not answer it, but I'll end up not answering it.
Yeah.
So just to say, I think by the time we had 3 kids, it's our oldest was what? Let's say 14 to 10. So it would have been 4, 2, and 0, or 4, 2 and newborn. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there are these like almost thresholds in life, where as a family, like you're just you are in total chaos, and then you reach this point where it's like everyone can wash themselves relatively, and they can pull up their own pants and they can use the bathroom, or they can sleep on their own, or they can go to, and it's so there's these thresholds, and you have these moments where you like look at each other and you're like, oh wow, we just got a little bit more margin in life.
Yeah.
And then it's like 6 months.
As soon as you say it.
As soon as you say it, it's like all right, time for the next for the next challenge. So
that's so true.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we are both kind of looking at the fact that my oldest this week is on his first school trip. First time he ever left the house with a group of people, gone till Friday night, left Monday. And staying in a hotel room with like 4 guys, and like we brought him to the airport, and there was this moment where I'm walking with my oldest, and he is terrified. He doesn't want to go. So I feel like if you're like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "Well, the first thing I'm realizing is kids are just so anxious right now." And some of it's just hard because like the reality is that like I lived in a city of 250,000 people, but there was no internet, there's no cell phones, there's no social media. So life is just so immediately shrunk and singular. And most people's lives 40 years ago, 35 years ago, was very, very immediate.
Yeah.
And for young people now, they literally have more power than the U.S. space program in their pocket. And they can look up anything. They can see anything. Unless obviously it's throttled, so that's the big thing for us. It's like the way 2 of our kids have phones that are both what's called Bark phones.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for Bark. And it's basically a dumb phone. It's a phone they can text and they can make calls, and that's it. And there's no app store. There's no web browsing. There's no internet. When my son turned 12, we gave him this phone, and he cried because he was terrified.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because he had friends whose parents at school, parents had given them phones that weren't throttled in any way, and they were coming to school and telling stories. And it was just terrified the daylights out of them.
Jeez.
So I would say like the first thing is the relationship with technology is a wild thing to navigate right now with kids. My daughter is 12 going on 25, and she's like a method actor. I feel like full time. Everything she does, she really wants to be an actress, but like my wife and I are like, she's total method school.
I think she's in the same theater program that my daughter is.
Yeah. Loves it. But like did cheerleading in the fall. And it was like always like came home one day and like boom, long hair, like highlights, like the whole thing. I was just like, oh, you're a cheerleader now. She's like, yes. And like all her friends, it was this wild thing where it's like all of her friends have a nickname that ends with la. So it's like, all their names are begin with A. So it's like Abby, Ariel, Ashley, and like it's just like this whole like list of nicknames, and she did that all fall, and then now in the spring, now she's doing softball. It's just like this whole like list of nicknames, and she did that all fall, and then now in the spring, now she's doing softball. Hair in a ponytail, and like she's just kind of like posturing herself, like sort of like sideways, like holding the glove. She's got a wicked arm on her too.
She's chucking them.
But I would say you have 2 girls. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We have friends who have 3 teenage girls, and they come to our house, and
quote,
they're like,
"Quote, you have 2 girls? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of girls. It's just, I would say it is exponentially more complex and challenging for a young girl.
Yeah.
To be navigating the beginning throes of adolescence. It is insanely complex. The world that we've sort of constructed for them to navigate. It's bad. It's not great. It's really, really hard. And as a parent, as a dad, it's even harder because it's like every single thing you want to intervene. and then you're having a conversation like you can't call their parent, like you can't do that, you know. So it's like someone will say something mean at school, and your kid's like, so and so said this, and it's just like, okay, so what are we doing? Are we venting, or are you wanting me to solve the problem?
Right.
And it's not like bad like levels of bullying. Most of it's just relational. Kids, like middle school kids, be middle school kids,
Right.
And so we're sort of at the beginning stages of that. I think the hardest thing to navigate for us is, like I said, it's anxiety. So kids are just more aware of the world. I mean, we started bombing a country, and my kids are in the car in the minivan with my wife, and I was out of town on Friday, and I'm talking to her, and the kids are like, "Hey, Dad." And I was like, "Yeah," and they're like, "What did Iran do?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, we're bombing it. So, like, why?" And I was like, "Oh, this is a much longer conversation."
Isn't it crazy that the questions that they'll ask that you're like, that's such a great observation. Like, for you to, that's the right question, but you're like, this is, and it's so simple. It's like, well, who are we, the good guys? I think my daughter asked that the other day about something. I'm like, I mean, I feel like I need to give you some kind of an answer right now, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know, you know. It's nuanced. It's very complex.
Yeah, I think the thing is that I don't want to give the answer that sometimes that my parents gave me, because sometimes I would walk into the kitchen and they would be talking about something, and I'd be like, "What's going on?" And earlier on, it would be like, "Shh," it'd just be like, "Don't talk." Like, you can sit here and listen, but don't talk. Mm-hmm. But as I got older, I mean, that was the one thing about growing up in the house that I did. Like, we talked about everything, but like, I would say that I think my dad, like, they didn't necessarily like talk about things like to me as a kid in a way that I would understand. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's like, what's foreign policy? It's just sort of like trying to figure out a way to talk about things that a kid can actually process information. Yeah. But it's also just kind of sad that it's like, man, it bums me out that you're having to grow up in this world.
Right.
Well, you know, too, I think David and Sissy have said this, like learning what they're really asking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like having
just learning how to only answer the question that they actually ask.
Yes, because often we give too much information. Right. And that's part of the problem, is that I'm realizing, like, well, my parent, like, there's a lot we never talked about. You know what I mean? Like, my youngest is 10. And so the way I do the talk as a dad is I do it in stages.
Yeah.
And so the first talk's at 10. So I did it with my oldest. And so it's like, we're going to go out to lunch and go eat lunch. And I'm just going to talk about, you know, how babies get made. Mm-hmm. And then just let that hang out there. Mm-hmm. And, you know, with my oldest, it was literally, I'd never forget. This is the one time I haven't video would help with the show. Is that, like, we're at Hunter Station in East Nashville, and we're like eating tacos, and he's got like a Topo Chico, and I'm sort of telling him, okay, so this is, you know, babies grow inside mom, and then she has to push him out, and you know, it's called labor, and he's just sitting there, and all of a sudden he does the thing, where like his eyes went. And just took a giant swig of this Topo Chico, like, this is a lot.
It's like, I wish I had something a little harder than that.
But to that point, like, beginning to talk about sexuality with a kid in a day and age when kids his age are being exposed to like hyper exposed to like all forms of graphic entertainment, whether it's violence or sexuality or language or whatever. It is a wild thing to navigate and to do so much in a way that I love that. I'm going to take that you answer the question that they're really asking.
Well, because I think, like, when you're, you know, Dad, what's going on with Iran? You know, that's probably as much as are we safe as it is I want to actually know what's happening. Do you know what I mean? And I think, like, was that Dave? I know somebody said that, and one of our professionals we've had on kind of addressed, like, a lot of being a parent, especially in the kids' ages, because ours are around the same age, all three of ours, is knowing, they don't really care about that. They're really, what they're asking me is like, are we okay? Are we going to die? or whatever, whatever.
100%.
And then knowing, I'm not going to regale you with what's happening with.
Let's talk about the Shaw in 1953.
There you go. There we go.
Well, and my daughter, one of the questions that she asked was, would they ever bomb here? Would someone ever, bomb here?
Yeah.
Which is a simple question.
Yeah.
But it's like, the answer is like, technically, well, yeah, they could.
Yeah.
Do I say that, or do I just say, do I play the odds and be like, no, that's not going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that after the shooting at Covenant that Sissy really doubled down on. She was like, hey, because, that day when we gathered at the church, we were waiting for the kids to come in. She was like, listen, this is where it's kind of okay to lie. And not that it's lying, but man, you're probably, when they say, is this going to happen again? Just say no. You're probably going to be right. Look, this was, of course, we just saw what happened this morning. But you have those moments in parenting where you're kind of like, I'm just going to hedge my bets on, no, they're not, honey.
Yeah.
They're not. That's never really happened in America. Probably won't happen right now, especially in Nashville. But it's weird as a parent because it feels so dishonest. It feels like, well, and then, Lord knows if it happens, they're like, wait, you said.
Right.
But again, it's just like,
it's funny. This takes it into a lighter area, but my oldest is 13. She'll be 14 this year. And she said to me yesterday, she was like, I cannot wait to drive. And I'm like, that's great. I inside I'm like terrified.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was the same. I remember, I can viscerally remember getting my license, dropping my mom off at home, and just driving that 89 Pontiac Bonneville around Anderson.
Yeah, baby.
Just looking
with
like,
the sub in the back.
but
broken.
But that's where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to tell you how dangerous driving is.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's funny because we worry about so many things that if we're just looking at the stats, girl, what we're doing right now is probably the most dangerous thing you're going to do for a long time.
Yeah.
You're worried about that flight you're getting on Friday. This is more dangerous. So I'm like leaning the other way. I'm like, I want her to be freaked out about driving.
Yeah. And don't get me started on processed foods. You know what I mean? Oh, you think that's bad? How's that Oreo, honey?
No, she's like, well, I'll push through. No, I'll find a way.
Yeah. So there was this moment when we dropped off our oldest at the airport, and he wanted us to hang out until he went through security. But there was this moment where he was like, I'm just so nervous. And I was like, thinking to myself, I'm like, what are you nervous? What's this really about? And then someone called his name, and he looked up and he saw his friend, and he just like all of a sudden his pace picked up, and all of a sudden he was like just like eclipsing.
See ya, yeah.
See ya. Mm-hmm. And it literally triggered this memory that during COVID, one of the things that happened was I taught my son how to ride a bike.
Wow.
And so he was old. He was much older. Most kids learn a lot younger, but for whatever reason, like it just never really happened. And it was like, I think it was either, it was 2020. And so we were down at the air park and we're running around, and all of a sudden, like, there was this moment where you let go and you realize they're too far away from you that you won't be able to catch him. I was like, if he bails right now, he is going to feel the full weight of it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I never felt a more visceral time in my life where I realized what letting go feels like really as a parent.
Wow.
Where your kids are just like, okay, you really, like, this is life. Like that felt like a real teaching moment where God was just sort of saying, like, this is a metaphor for life. Like, you're never really in control. They're always kind of just outside, a little too far away from it. And it's more about, are you okay letting go? Mm-hmm. Are you okay kind of sitting with this? And it was literally like the same thing. Like, I felt like I was like, am I in a MasterCard commercial? Like, what is happening? Are we going to fast forward and he's going to be I'm going to be in the back of the church with them, and they, I was wild. So Yeah, I mean, I would say, we're navigating it, I think, as well as any pair of parents who love each other and love our kids and want our kids to grow up to be the people that God wants them to be. I'm continually blown away by all of them in terms of like the people that I see them becoming, and love sort of encouraging their own curiosity and their own. So it's like I can tell they all three have very distinctly different relationships with God. Like I can already tell.
That's interesting.
And the youngest is probably the most private about it, but probably the most sensitive, I think. And but it's really beautiful to watch. But like I think like my oldest takes his faith that's the oldest child thing. I think he bears the weight of the world on his shoulders. And so, yeah, like I did, because he goes to a Catholic school. So I went and talked to one of the Nashville Dominicans here in town, teach there. And it's like, I went and talked to one of them saying, can you please talk to him about there's a condition called scrupulosity where you essentially like, you're spiritually nitpicking every single thing that you do. So it's like, you're never really forgiven. Like you're never, there's never really a point where you've
out-sinned.
Like it's like you've somehow exhausted the mercy of God. I would sit down. I was just like, do you feel too much pressure from us? He goes, no, it's not. And it's just, and so then I went and talked to his sister. She goes, no, it's just some people are just like this.
Yeah.
And some of it actually comes from what's the thing I've learned is that it's actually, he's really that good.
He's so close to nailing it.
He's so much more in tune with what it means to take this seriously that he can't tolerate the moments in himself when he doesn't.
Yeah, isn't it funny to your point? It's another exact example of they're just a little outside of your reach. Like when they start turning into who they really are and your grasp doesn't extend to now who they are. They really are their own planet.
Yeah.
And they're becoming that, and they're outside of under your wings. And you're like, oh my gosh, they're turning into this person totally outside of who my wife and I are. And it's so beautiful, but it's like, again, not that you ever, it's exactly the same. It's not that you ever had control over who they are, but man, you really realize in that moment, like, oh, the trajectory's set. They're blasting off. And I really just get to sort of go, okay, I mean, I guess I'm sort of a part of who you're becoming, but now you're really becoming it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's made me, I think, in a healthy way, relish the opportunities and moments I have now, and sort of like kind of rebolster the willingness to fight for it, to fight for it as a priority. Like I annoy the crap out of my team now because when we start talking about touring, I'm like, guys, 4 years. I got 4 years. I have 4 summers left. I have to, and they're like, they'll be like, oh, we're gonna get a date. This offer's going to be. I'm like, driver's ed's in the fall. He's learning how to drive. I got to teach him how to drive stick starting August. Yeah. And so much of my life right now is like I'm realizing that when you start in music, you really end up finding people like even my wife, Kristen, a big part of the reason why we meshed was she loved what I did. She didn't feel threatened by what I did. And she was supportive of it. And there is early on, you're sort of like, when you're really trying to go for it, you're kind of organizing your life around your career.
Yeah,
you're trying to fit everything. You're fitting family. You're fitting, like, you're changing birthdays. You're doing, and still to this day, stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
But there was this real shift where all of a sudden I just kind of realized, no, I need to restructure everything in my life around my family.
Yeah.
Because none of this will exist. None of this will make any sense. It won't be real. It'll be something else.
Yeah.
But it won't be what I want it to be.
Yeah.
And so that has required, like, my wife is a superhero. She's a superhuman. she's just an incredible woman. I mean, and so much about like our kids. I genuinely, and that's the thing. Like, I love being with my kids. I love hanging out with them. My youngest last night, it was just him and I, and we started watching. There's a show called Gravity Falls on Disney.
Oh my gosh, my kids love that show.
Yeah, we just started watching it.
It's so funny,
and it's hysterical. And so, there are these moments where I'm like, my wife had a lot more of them. She was just so much more early on, really in tune with every aspect. And I've been kind of playing a bit of catch up in some ways. Yeah. And there's stuff that I've always done. Like I played volleyball all through college and or all through high school. And for first couple of years, I played club, and so my two boys are both playing club volleyball.
Wow. Before we release you, anything you need to, what you got going on that people need to know about?
I have, this is I'm in a whole new season. So after almost 18 years with the same record label, I'm now an independent artist.
Wow. Come and join us. The water's fun.
So that's new.
Very new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm really excited. Like working on a bunch of new stuff, and really, really excited. I'm excited about this next season of creativity. So I think by this point, hopefully by this time, I'll have a new song out. If not, I'll be because I don't know when this is going to air.
Yeah, we probably won't.
Okay.
Keep going.
I have a new song out. It just came out. It's brand new. I finished it yesterday.
What's it called?
It's called Gonna Be All Right.
I already like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Like I was at a writing camp, and you start writing a song, and you immediately, as an artist, there's this part of you that goes, ooh.
Yeah. Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I'm coveting this. I don't know if I'm coveting my own creativity, but it's like,
a great way to say it.
I saw it was pleasing to the eye. So I kind of gravitated to it. It felt like a natural extension of something I would want to say. And so then kind of towards the end of the year, I just reached out to a producer named Jeff Pardo.
I love Jeff.
Who I've known for years, and we'd never done anything together.
Wow.
And we live like 10 minutes apart. And so it's just like, hey, I got this song. I want to record it. Can I come by and play for you? And so I came by, and he was like, he's doing the thing. I was like, so what are you doing? So like, what's going on? And I said, well, I'm out of my deal, and I think I'm just gonna kind of pursue being independent right now. And so I played him a bunch of songs, and that was like the second one to play. And I played him the first one, which is this song that like the artist in me loves.
Yeah.
And I like what it says, but it's kind of slightly more earnest, and this is just like a fun song.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh no, dude, that's the song." And I was like, I really like it. I was like, but do you think? He goes, that's what people need to hear right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this sort of this realization of like, how do you fight negativity, and how do you fight? There's this automatic assumption that like you fight resistance with like equal resistance, and that so some of it, it's like I'm realizing it's like being a dad. If you're raised in a house where your dad yells at you, he's not just yelling at you. He's giving you data on this is what you're supposed to do to assert your point.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I learned a lot in the past 5 years and reflecting with my kids is it's like whatever emotion they're coming at me with, I actually don't need to meet it with the same emotion.
Yeah.
I need to, if it's a negative one, it's like I need to like judo chop this thing.
Yeah.
And come at it from a different way.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's the thing in parenting, that you do a lot of tag teaming.
Yeah.
Like my heart goes out for single parents. I don't know how they manage to do it, because
Yeah.
there's so many times where with my daughter, my wife will be like, I'm out. And I will be too. And then with one of our kids, it's like, I'll be like, I didn't know there was a button there, but he found it and pushed it, and I'm going to walk away. So I feel like in this age when it's like there's so much negativity and there's something to me that feels almost like using joy as a bit of resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, so it's out.
I'm looking forward to it.
Everybody listen to it. Matt, thank you for spending your time with us here.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. I'll come back anytime.
Yeah.
Talk more about fishing.